Hello and welcome back to the desert of Saudi Arabia for our final night of climbing entertainment. It's time for the speed athletes to perform, starting off with the qualifying and moving on to the finals later on. 16 athletes will progress. And trust me, it's going to be a lightning fast competition. We've got some of the world's fastest and best climbers in the stadium, and I can't wait to get cracking. So that is our speed wall, as you can see, but we've had bouldering action as well, which finished last night. But now all of our attention turns to that speed wall, the focus points of the stadium really dominating the stadium. And it's time to find out what speed climbing is all about.
Speed climbing. The clue is in the name. It's all about being fast and, of course, the climbing bit. The athletes have to take on this. The wall, a 15-metre, 5-degree overhanging challenge. So how do you win? Qualifying is against the clock. Each athlete has 2 attempts to set a time. The fastest climbers head to the finals. A head-to-head knockout competition. Beat the climber next to you and you're through to the next round, until there are only 2 left in a winner-takes-all final. 15 metres of vertical acceleration. It's all about the speed.
Well, there you go. Those are the basic rules, and it is a pretty easy sport to understand. You start at the bottom, you finish at the top. Whoever does it fastest wins that race. But in qualifying, as I mentioned in that video, it's all about the clock. The athletes getting those 2 runs in order to set the best time possible. They've been practicing earlier on. The wall has now dropped into shade, providing perfect conditions for them. And it's almost time to get underway. And remember, just 16 will progress from this large field of athletes. And we've got world champions in the house, Olympic champions and world record holders. So it's going to be an exciting one as we look down the list of men who will be competing. I mentioned record holders, Sam Watson in 6th. He is the current world record holder with a 4.74. He'd love to set a fast time here this evening. And of course, as we look down the list of these names, Vedrick Leonardo pops out, the Olympic champion. Let's see what he can do out here on the walls of NEOM. Well, that's the men's competition. We have a women's comp as well, taking place just after this in terms of qualifying. And you can see the boulder wall on the right of our speed wall. That was in action last night and the day before. You can go back and watch all of the action from that, from the qualifying and the finals rounds on YouTube and Olympic channel.
I'm standing in front of the 15-metre speed wall, and it's worth remembering that both lanes are identical and the route doesn't change. Over the seasons and years it's the same, so the athletes are refining the beater, trying to squeeze the quickest possible time from the route. Now, you can't win a race at the start, but you can lose it, and the athletes will be looking to not full start, but start as close as possible to the beeps. Now, every athlete has their favourite section. Some prefer the middle, whatever you like. You've got to be consistent, though, and keep an eye on the top. There is a big jump, a dyno, from the final holds to the starting pad, and we've seen races won or lost in the air. Whatever happens, it's going to be exciting as the world's fastest go head-to-head.
Well, there you go, some more intricacies to our speed wall, and it is worth remembering that fact the route never changes. It's not boring though, of course, because the athletes work all season to refine their beater. They're trying to squeeze extra seconds, milliseconds out of their time, and they work so hard to do this. I was talking to Sam Watson, the record holder, the other day, and he told me that he got a sub 6 seconds climbing blindfolded, which is an unbelievable stat, I think. Okay, well, time for qualification then. 2 rounds. The athletes will race together, but remember, it isn't a race. The fastest 16 will progress, but 2 teammates stride onto the mats first of all. Konstantin Pavlenko and Yaroslav Tkach on the right-hand side of the screen. Ukraine sending quite a big squad here into the desert. And we can see 26 years old, 23 years old for Yaroslav on the right. Now that's a starting pad you can see at the bottom of the wall. The athletes will have 1 foot on that, 1 foot on the wall, and 2 hands on the wall as well. They are clipped in using what we call an auto belay. This takes in the slack as they climb, and when they fall, or if they fall, they're brought safely back down to the ground. Okay, so here we go. Yaroslav on the right, Konstantin on the left, a 5.13. This is a 5.09 in terms of PB, so Yaroslav fastest on paper. Who can set a good time here? Well, there's no false starts, and Konstantin exploded off the pads. What a moment for him. It's going to be an unbelievable time, a 5.53. Yaroslav, slower than he would have liked there, had a bit of a hesitation down low. I'd like to see a replay there of exactly what happened, because Yaroslav just wasn't there. You could see the pause. Couldn't really recover after that. Had a slip there as well. So not the fastest time for Yaroslav. He's got work to do in his second run, but Konstantin very, very fast. And these qualifying times getting closer and closer as the athletes get better, of course. It's unbelievable how close it is now. From continental level all the way up to the World Cup standard. Okay, Hirihori Iltisyan, another Ukraine athlete on the left, Luka Robiati on the right. That's that starting pad I was talking about. And do keep an eye on the ways that the athletes climb the route. It can be difficult just because it is so quick, but by the end of this competition, I'm sure you'll be spotting the micro beaters, especially at the beginning with the what we call the Tamoa skip, which is a jump from the second hold up to the fourth, missing the third out on the left.
Ready?
No full starts again, nice and smooth down at the bottom. We hit the middle section of the route. Luka is fast at the top and a 5.75 versus a 5.78 in terms of time. So outside of their PBs, both athletes could run faster. And it's interesting to work out the psychology of this one. Do you give it all on your first run and risk a possible slip? Do you play it safe, get a time in the board, and then go for it on the second? Sam Watson, the world record holder, the Olympic bronze medalist, runs onto the stage, just 18. And what a force he is in the climbing world. In the last couple of years, he's really come on. Broke the world record multiple times this year. So do keep an eye on the clock. 4.74 is the world record. I have been told, though, that this wall is slightly slippery, according to the athletes. So they're not expecting world records to fall, but you never know. It's speed climbing. Sam Watson on the right, there's Olympic rings on his shoulder. So here we go. Benka on the left, Sam on the right.
Ready?
Well, it's a quick start from Benka, but then he pauses and hesitates. He's got work to do. Let's have a look at Sam's time. He's motoring through the top on a 5.43, a solid time. Might be enough for the finals tonight. Not anywhere near his record, of course, but he will just have an eye on that top 16. No need to push things at this stage too much. And Sam was clean throughout that run. Nice work, as you can see. Solid on the foothold, solid on the hands. And a nice dyno at the top. And look at that flow he has through the middle section, especially. A slight hesitation before that dyno. Next up, second of our USA athletes, Zach Hammer on the left-hand side and Ryo Omasa on the right from Team Japan. You may be used to seeing Team Japan crushing it on the boulder and lead circuit. Well, they have a pretty handy speed team as well. And this man is leading the way at the moment. Ryo Omasa, super calm as well. Great personality off the mat. Very focused when he's out on the stage. Gets clipped in by our team of staff here. And then the audience, of course, drops into silence, as will we, as we wait for the buzzers.
Ready?
So here we go at a very fast start for Zach Hammer. Ryo Omasa, though, picking up some pace in the middle section, drawing ahead as we hit the top. But Zach Hammer takes that, 5.42, close to Sam's time earlier on, and Ryo Omasa slightly slower, his PB sub-5, so he's got more in the tank to give for sure. Let's have another look at this. Zach actually had a big slip down low, that right foot skidding out. Managed to recover, though, and set a fast time. Of course, it's not a race, remember, at this stage. It's against the clock, but we kind of call it like a race, don't we? Because it's an idea of who was fastest. And what a shot that is. The mountains rising up out of the desert. Red sandstone cliffs against a red sandstone desert. All right, world champion time. Matteo Zelloni on the left and Julian David. Both of these athletes, Olympians from the summer. Julian David taking the mammoth trip over from New Zealand. I think he said it was a 17-hour flight into Dubai for him. He's had a few days in order to rest and recover. And Matteo Zelloni told me he's in good shape, not the best, but not bad. So we'll have to see what that exactly means. Could mean anything for these speed climbers. So 4.94 is Matteo's fastest, 5.20 for Julian. It's good from both. Matteo Zaloni starts to pick up the pace now. Julian David, though, is in touch. Let's see, a 5.6 versus a 5.519. Very, very close for both athletes. Julian David is leading the way for New Zealand speed climbing. He's a massive celebrity in New Zealand. I think I've seen him in so many news reports and features on TV. And look at that. I said in that VT that it's often one in the air, and you can have an idea of that from that wonderful side shot we have of the wall. So, fist bumps, Aspar, what a legend that is. Past world record holder, of course. Mishat Kabulin, also a bit of a legend on the right-hand side. Olympians again. And you can hear the encouragement there. Indonesian team, super popular. And Aspar actually took place in the fun boulder round from earlier on. And you could hear the crowd's reaction to him. It was wonderful seeing him on the boulder wall, actually. And he did a pretty good job. It was a fun round, but he was competitive. So, here we go. 5.05, 5.01 PBs. Oh, it's a good start from both athletes. Aspar, though, has a big hesitation down low. Rishat streaks away, but Aspar has work to do, and a 6.13 will be outside of a finals time for Aspar. He's going to have to find something, but Rishat with a good sighting time there. Let's have a look. Where was Aspar's slip? There you go. Big hesitation, set him out of sequence down low. Had to recover. Setting a time that he will not be happy with work to do. Okay, Eric Neuer on the right-hand side in the red of Spain versus Kevin Amon on the left. Kevin looking slightly nervous out there as he's preparing himself out of the shot of the audience, but not from our cameras who have spied them waiting in that area. A little nod. Eric looking relaxed, though, as he walks out. Big smile on his face. Eric was in the desert last year, enjoys coming out here. And look at the progression to final. Big difference between the two. 10% compared to 59%. Kevin Amon, part of Team Austria, of course, with a strong climbing pedigree, both from lead, boulder, and speed, of course. So here we go. Eric with sparkles on his forehead, loving it. 5.01, 5.30 for Kevin for PBs. Slightly slow from both athletes in terms of reaction time, but Eric picking up the pace now. What can he do at the top of the wall? 5.6, but Kevin has a big moment in the top sector. 6.95 will leave him way outside of the time he needs, so work to do for him. Yeah, both athletes just a little hesitant off the blocks. Managed to pick it up. Eric, especially his top section, running very, very fast. But let's see where Kevin had his mistake. Watching his feet. It was there, wasn't it? Nothing dramatic, just slightly out of shape coming into that top section. Interesting how what you do down low affects you up high. Right, Ludovico Fossali, the man mountain on the left. Gianluca Zotta, his teammate on the right. Ludovico Fossali picking up a gold medal a few times this year, especially in Briançon. What a victory that was for him, though, in the World Cup circuit. Very expressionate, emotional man is Ludovico Fossali. I absolutely adore watching this man climb. He leaves nothing to guess of what he's feeling. If he's frustrated, he'll show it. If he's happy, it's wonderful. So here we go. 4.97, fast for Ludovico. 5.30 for Gianluca Zotta. One last final air climb for Ludovico as he reminds himself of what he has to do here. Drives that left foot into the timing pad. Looks down, thighs flick up. And here we go. Fast from both. Gianluca Zotta very quick off the bottom. Ludovico smoother, though, throughout on a 5.4 versus a 5.5. Ludo there, as he likes to be called, looking just silky throughout that run. No drama from him. Both teammates chatting to each other as they return to the ground. Yeah, look at this from Ludovico Fossali. Seemed almost effortless, the amount of power. There was a slight slip right at the very top, which would have cost him some fractions of a second. So things to clean up for him in that second round. Jung on the left-hand side, coming from his home World Cup in Korea. Leander Carmen's on the right from Germany. Both athletes similar in terms of age. Korea is another climbing federation that's up and coming in terms of speed climbing as well. And what an event it was in Seoul for our final World Cup of the year. Lots of drama there. We said goodbye to some legends. We discover some new ones as well. Go back and watch all that action on the World Climbing Club, of course, on YouTube. So here we go. The marks are called. 5.25, 5.06 for Leander Carmans, who's faster on paper.
Ready?
Well, it is quick from both, but Jungern had a slight slip down low. He's recovered well, though. Leander Carman starts to turn on the pressure, but he is behind. 5.53 versus a 5.6, I think that was. Went before I could really see it. So we know around about the 5.4s guaranteed at the moment. 5.5s are okay. 5.6s are risky. Just to show you how fast things are. Lovely shot as we pan up. The mountains behind starting to drop and change colour. It's incredible the colour changes here in the desert, actually. Goes bright red before the sun sets, and then, of course, our lights pick it up. Yun Yasukawa on the right, Emir Mamaratov on the left. Kazakhstan and Japan. Mamaratov with there's lots of henna tattoos kicking around, by the way. That's where you'll see all the new ink. It's part of the activities that you can do here in the camp in NEOM. There are quite a few activities as well. Stargazing, yoga. Lots to do. So both athletes in their preparation here, 4.89, 5.16, so close to that 5-second mark for both.
Back to presentation.
Yun just, everyone called back for a second. I think they just went slightly prematurely there. And here we go, marks are called. Amir here with a little smile there. Oh no, he wants some time too. So a little bit of hesitation from both athletes there. Now marks are called again, and here we go. Now Mike's picking up every breath from the athletes. Yun with a big flick start from him. He's powering upwards, looking through. Amir falls. He won't set a time. Yun gets it done. Well, Amir managed to catch himself at a 5.3. That is super fast from the Japanese athlete. Amir, of course, did slip, managed to catch himself. He missed it on the camera, but you can do that. As long as you've got some points of contact. You can see huge slip, but he did recover and continue to set a time. And it's worth remembering that in the next round of the finals, it's a race. So if you do slip like that, you've got to keep going because your opponent might also slip. So it's good practice. Right, Joshua Brains, from South Africa on the left. Alessandro Bullos on the right from Italy. Where is Alessandro? Okay, so we've got an injury for Alessandro, I've just been told. So Alessandro not in this competition, so Joshua will run alone. Won't really put him off too much. He'll be used to doing this many times. He qualified for the Olympics in the Continental Qualifier. 5.71 is his best time. Bit of a weird start that, just got his flick wrong as you can see, and then really slow down at the bottom, can't recover from that. He was mid-movement when the buzzer went, and a 6.46, and he knows that wasn't right. You just saw it. He just got the timing wrong. He was on his backswing when the buzzer went and then had to sort of cut the motion short, it looked like. Well, we missed it on that replay, but you can see how slow he was down low. Really trying to recover. It was never going to be after that hesitant start from him. So, work to do. Back to the drawing board for Joshua.
Because we welcome the amazing Indonesian team. There are 2 climbers, personal best for
So, 2 Indonesian teammates, what legends they are. Vedrik Leonardo, Olympic champion on the right. Kamal Katabin, who's broke multiple records on the way. Team Indonesia have such a strong squad and have done for quite a few years. The federation investing heavily into speed climbing. So, here we go. 2 teammates' turn. This is the final race of the first rotation for the qualifying for the men.
Ready?
Clean from both. Kamal Katabin exploding off, now slightly slowing. Vedrik reeling him in terms of time, and Vedrik a 5.149. I think that's the fastest one so far. Brilliant from Vedrik and a big smile. He knows that's enough. And Kamal Katabin as well. Fast from him, 5.17, so 2 fast times. Both athletes really should progress with that one. Interestingly, Kamal did have a little bit of a moment in the top section. You saw just a hesitation and pause with the arms. Right, we change lanes and we rotate back to our first set of athletes. So Yaroslav Tkac on the left-hand side, Konstantin Pavlenko on the right now. People ask often if the lane choice makes a difference. Not really is the answer. Some prefer it, obviously, there's personal preference. On one side, you can see your fellow competitor, on the other, you've got nothing to distract you, but when you talk to the athletes, it really doesn't make a difference. And of course, they train on both extensively, so as not to be put off. So Yaroslav was fast before. See what he can do this time.
Ready?
Well, it is fast from Konstantin again. He was fast the first time. He's fast the second. Yaroslav slips again, and Yaroslav misses the clock. That might be the end of his NEOM Games. We'll have to wait and see. And let's see that from Konstantin, really fast through, slapping the pad, but Yaroslav all over the place, missing. As our drone pans down to show you the arena itself. Next two athletes out and about. Hrihori Iltisian and Luca Robiati on the left-hand side this time. So Ukraine versus Italy once more. And these times are important for the athletes because in the final, the fastest will race the slowest. So you obviously don't want to be in that position if possible. As much of a qualifying run as a seeding run, this.
Ready?
Well, it's a good start from both athletes. Nice and smooth from Hrihori. Luca, though, very fast to the top. Hrihori makes a big mistake, though, and doesn't stop the clock as well. So 5.6 on the left for Luca Robiati. No time, that time for Hrihori Iltisian. Unfortunate. That timing pad and that jump at the top. And there is a great graphic to show us the times from earlier on, how fast the athletes went, so we can get an idea of what they want to beat in this second round. Luca Robiati faster on his second go. And just to give you an idea, Sam Watson with his kick of the wall, that he always does. It's his trademark. All these speed climbers have a routine that they try to follow. And you'll see this, they try to do exactly the same thing every time they walk out onto the wall. Not through superstition, although I'm sure that plays a part, it's just to get yourself into the zone. Sam Watson, eyes looking out to the audience for a moment. This will be his final big comp of the year, of course. I want to go out on a bang. He was disqualified in Seoul due to a false start. So, here we go again.
Ready?
Fast from both at the beginning. Sam Watson picking up the pace here. Keep an eye on the clock for Sam. A 5.206. That's faster. Much faster from Sam. An improvement for him. Have to wait and see if that's enough, but I think it might be. Let's see how he did it, shall we? Smearing on the wall, using those footholds to full advantage. He's been working, he told me, on will be working on micro beta in the off-season, just making sure that every foot lands in the same place every time. That's his off-season goals, anyway. What a shot that is of the camp here in NEOM. I'll talk more about that later, but we have glamping facilities, amazing food, which I'm eating far too much of. Sam Watson just being held on the left there. I think we might try to grab an interview with him later on. So, Zach Hammer, Rio Omasa on their second run of the evening here. We're coming out to about 5:15 Saudi Arabian time. About 2:15, I think, Central European time. So here we go. Zach Hammer with that twist he always does. That's one of his routines. A little shrug of the shoulders from Rio Omasa there.
Ready?
Well, that's good from both, but Zach had a big slip down low. You saw it coming with the way he went, and a 5.2 for Rio Omasa. Well, great time for him, but your heart goes out to Zach Hammer. His mum's here in the desert. Met her earlier on. She's come as a coach capacity, and mum, of course. But yeah, you saw it with a slight flick at the beginning of Zach Hammer's run there. Something wasn't right with his beginning, and it did affect him on the Tomoa. That jump I mentioned earlier on, down low. Okay, next two, Julian David on the left this time. On the right, Matteo Zaloni. These two have played more FIFA, I think, than any other athletes. We've got a PlayStation set up and they are always in front of FIFA. I don't know who's winning, though. I'll have to ask them. So here we go. Matteo Zaloni, of course, going sub 5 seconds in terms of his PB. Olympic rings for both of them on their arms.
Ready?
Here we go. It's a fast start for Julian David, but Matteo Zaloni was not quick off the blocks. Can he recover some time here? 5.6 versus a 5.332 for Julian Davids. Very close to his PB in a fast time, but Matteo Zaloni a little bit slow. It was the bottom section that got him. He did pick up the pace at the top, but couldn't recover enough and had a hesitation there as well. It's amazing what you see in the replay, isn't it? We need to half the speed just to work out what these guys are doing right and wrong. What a shot in the desert that is. The sun now dropping behind the mountains, casting this gorgeous golden glow onto our stadium and the surrounding desert. Absolutely beautiful. Rishat Kabulin on the left. Aspat on the right-hand side. Just reminding themselves they move that timing pad to suit their own personal position of starting. Rishat is always focused. Super smiley outside of the speed wall, but very controlled and focused when he's tied in. So here we go. Second run for these two. Very close PBs as well. It's fast from Aspat, but look at Rishat as he starts to increase the pace in the middle sector. And a 5.205 is quick again. Aspat a bit disappointed, 5.584. He would have wanted to go just a little faster on that. But Rishat cementing himself in the finals with that run into the 5.2s. Looks like 5.2s is where you need to be at the moment to guarantee that place. And he did it on that run. Aspat a little bit behind and a shrug and disappointment, as you can see from him there. So Eric Neuer on the left, Kevin Amon on the right. Kevin will be wearing that knee brace there, not necessarily because of injury, just because you can hit your legs into the wall pretty hard during speed climbing. And I think that one's for protection more than an injury, maybe wrong. And the sparkles in Eric Neuer's head is purely for the glamour. Although you never know, do sparkles increase speed? We'll have to do some tests on that. So athletes clipped in, and you can see our lights now starting to pick out the athletes, the spotlights, as darkness starts to descend here into the desert.
Ready?
It's a fast one from Kevin Amon. Can Eric find something? He is behind at the moment. It's not the best from him. 5.6, yeah, versus the 5.7. So although Eric did take that both times, are slower. Maybe that first run will come into play there, and Eric looks disappointed with that run, doesn't he? Let's see if we can spot anything going wrong here. I didn't spot any major mistakes, but the slow-mo is where we can find those moments. There's a little hesitation with the match on that hold. That's the big dyno in the middle. No obvious mistakes. Did look down at his foot there on the last move, so maybe something going wrong. Gianluca Zoda on the left. Ludovico Fasali on the right. Both the athletes capable of going fast. Ludo just clearing off the smear there. Where he was brushing, that's where you smear for the Tomoa jump, and he would have wanted to make sure there's no dust on that hold. Those are our holds themselves. Pretty uniform. There are slight differences in terms of size and shape between sets, but it's a very complicated, geeky thing. So here we go. Chalk on. Ludo reclimbing the route in his head, as he's done 1,000 million times throughout his career. 4.97, remember, this is a 5.30 PBs. Very fast from Ludo off the block. Gianluca Zoda, though, has a good middle opening sector, and he's fast at the top as well, but a big hesitation from him. Ludo misses. Ludo looked great until the very top. 5.729 for Gianluca. Isn't the fastest, but what happened to Ludo there? The clock's still ticking on above his head. He was fine throughout that run. Let's have a look. It was on the dyno where he lost it. Maybe a little bump there, and look, yes, big right foot slip, sending him spiraling head first down to the ground. Not stopping the clock. We'll have to wait and see if that first time is going to be enough for him. Risky one for him.
It's a never-ending fight.
5.149, by the way, is the fastest time so far from Leonardo Vedrick, so the Olympic champion getting the fastest time of the afternoon. Everyone else will be filing in behind him at the moment. So Leander Carmen's on the left-hand side. Jung Jung on the right, Jung Jung on the right. So let's see. Very fast start from Younga, and what can he do here? He's pulling slightly ahead, but it's all about the clock, and a 5.4 versus a 5.58. 5.58 might not be fast enough, but Younga, good work from him there as the lights go green on his score. And look at that shot. I can't get enough of this desert view. It's unbelievable.
And Leander now is 16.
Look at that, really fast.
58. His second race. Give him. So for the last seat, but we still have 2 start. So 4 timers to try to reach the best position. Out to Japan, Yasukawa on the left, lane A, right, lane B for Amir Meimorata.
Right, next race, Yun Yasukawa on the left-hand side, Amir Maimuratov on the right. Super lightweight harnesses these athletes wear, different from lead climbers in some ways, and Amir especially, his is featherweight on the right. A little shout from Yun, that's what he always does.
Ready?
Right, here we go, big flick of the head from Yun. And it is fast, but Amir, as we know, is grease lightning, and a 5.24. That is quick from him, but you're not far behind with a 5.343. But disappointment there, but Amir with in the 5.2s, that should set him for the finals. Yun, you can hear his disappointment, can't you? Yeah, I think he slapped the wall in frustration at some point. Okay, so Joshua Brains needs work. We know this. He had that weird start from the first round where he was caught mid-movement, it looked like to me anyway. So it's all important, this run for him. Alessandro Bulos missing through injury. That's why we're not seeing him on the left lane. Penultimate race here for the men in terms of qualifying. Joshua breathes deep, flicks the auto belay behind his shoulder.
Ready?
Again, just caught a little bit napping on that start. Not sure what's going on with Joshua, but he's not going to recover a fast enough time here. Speeds up at the top, but a 7 is below. I just don't know. Seemed to have, to me, to make the same mistake again at the beginning. Let's look at this. See, look, this back flick, and then that kind of half motion just didn't seem to flow, and they couldn't find the pace through the bottom. I mean, look, it might be the way he does the start. He kind of half jerks it into position, but to me, he just lacked that flow and seemed to struggle in the first half of the route. Did pick up the pace at the top, by then it was long gone, so that's not going to be a finals place for him. So, final race, 2 teammates, Vedrick Leonardo, Kermel Katabin. What a final, and Vedrick with the fastest time of the day so far, 5.14. Can he beat that?
They were at the top of the top. He's Olympic champion.
Vedrick, super competitive as always, but as is Kermel Katabin, his teammate. So here we go. Can Vedrick beat his time? He just won't want a full start. But with that time, he will be through.
Ready?
Well, no full starts, thank goodness. Vedrick streaking up. Kermel Katabin finding some pace as well. Kermel is fast. No, he's not. Well, 5.19 stops the clock, but Kermel had a massive moment at the top of the wall there. Slapping nothingness. We'll have to see a replay.
He was able to still touch the buzzer even with the full kilometer.
So inside 5.58 will put you inside of the top 16. So think back to your favourites, and we know quite a few will be missing out on that. We've seen multiple mistakes, and look at that big one from Kermel Katabin there. Well, I think we're going to hopefully have a look at the times in a minute just to see, but 5.58 is what we're looking for, so we can see now fast times from a lot of people. 5.4s did get you in, but the 5.5s were risky. And look at Julian David, 5.61, he will miss out. Very, very close, but not quite. Gianluca Zodda as well, he's outside. So, interesting. We're going to miss a few big names here. Harry Horry, he won't climb again. And Eric Neuer as well will leave this competition. So, we know now what the times are. We're going to have to wait and see who's going to take it at our final race, which will come in about an hour and a bit after this finishes. But first of all, it's time to turn our attention to the women, of course. Slightly smaller field for the women's competition, but some big names there as well. Alexandra Miroslav, the gold medalist from Paris, isn't here. She's the current world record holder as well. Some big names, including the Kluchka sisters, here. Okay, we'll have our little swap around here. The women will be getting ready behind. Let's see a replay of the action we've already watched here today. Ukrainian teammates very fast on the wall, as we'd expect them to be. Ukraine as well, investing heavily in their speed climbing team. Of course, Ukraine had some boulderers with Zhenya Kazbekova last night as well. As we watch these wonderful highlights, kissing the crowd goodbye. And Sam Watson, we had an eye on the time with him, but he couldn't beat his own world record here. It came close. 5.20 was fast on that first run. Yeah, this wall, as I said, I've been told it is slightly slippery. And of course, the walls throughout the world do change in terms of the texture. Although the route is the same, the wall itself can have micro differences, and that makes a big difference if you're a speed climber. Julian David, won't see him climb again, but he was quick. Continues to set the world alight for New Zealand. Really fantastic competitor. Great to have him out here in the desert. Aspa on the near, going fast. 5.2, stopping the clock on the left-hand side there. Eric Neuer, he won't make it through. Always a big personality on the scene, and look at him, the man from Spain, streaking upwards. The 5.6 was outside of where he needed to be. Head in his hands, you could tell. That flick of the heads, Gianluca versus Ludovico Fossali's smooth running. But that big fall from Ludo in the second run cost him dear. Korea versus Germany, the only German athlete competing here today. So interesting to watch those clocks go green or red. That will make a big difference in the next round, of course, in the race. And although the time gives us an indication of speed in the next round, it's all about your opponent. You can have the slowest time in the world, but if your opponent doesn't get there first, well, you win. Joshua Brains had a bit of a nightmare, one to forget from him. Mistakes in the bottom half of his run cost him dear at the top. And there was recovery. It was not the qualifying he would have wanted, and then finally we ended up with the two teammates against each other. Super fast as well, but Colonel Katvin making that mistake, as you can see there, slapping the wall and missing out, catching himself, but not setting a time on that run. Well, what a sight, eh? Those black tents down there, that is the glamping. And in fact, we're going to watch some of the action from our NEOM competition as we get to see what went on through other sports. And currently down at the Beach Games, it's Spain versus Japan down at the football, and Spain are winning. So just to let you know, if you're a football fan, you can find that online as well. But why would you not want to be watching climbing here? So the women are up next. Less women competitors, as I said, but we're still looking for 16 to move forward into the next round. And again, it's the best of 2 runs make it through. And we've seen the mistakes that can happen from that men's competition as we get set for the women. And the first 2 athletes waiting in the gates. Some rather atmospheric music playing through the stadium here. Leslie Romero Perez from Spain on the left-hand side, a young athlete who's making big waves, and Eric Velev on the right-hand side from Canada. Canada, great to have them coming up onto this scene in terms of speed climbing. Their athletes perhaps less well known, but great to see them out here performing. Of course, Canada has a long history of good climbing and some great rock climbing there as well. Squamish especially, renowned for it. Erica looking a little bit nervous, bit of a cough there on the right-hand side. Hopefully that won't affect her. So 8.15, you can see the difference in PBs here versus Leslie's 6.86. So Erica starting her journey here with the IFSC. Well, it's a fast from Leslie, but no, it's not. Big hesitation from her. Erica will go. And we know that time in the 8s is probably unlikely to get her through, and it's a 9 for her and a 10 for Leslie. Slow start to the women's quali runs here. Mistake from Leslie. She can go much faster, as we know. And Erica as well is slow compared to her PB, but she will need to find some serious speed if she wants to progress here this evening. One of the underdogs for sure. Just see the difference in styles there. And speed climbing is one of those sports where the more you do it, the better you get. And when you are starting off in the game, it takes you a while to learn the beta, learn the route, and of course, deal with competition stress, because speed climbing is the most pressurized of all the climbing genres. It really is. So Patricia Huchiak on the left, she's an athlete who has been on the scene for a long, long time. Super experienced, nervous, I doubt will be playing a part in her preparation. Piper Kelly on the right from the USA. Olympian as well. She gets clipped on. So here we go, USA versus Poland in this seeding qualification run.
Ready?
Patricia, Olympian. Let's see what she can do here. Bit of a twitchy start from her, and it is slow down low. It was just a little bit off. Piper Kelly will be ahead in terms of time at the top here, but it's not the fastest we've seen, and actually Patricia came back at her with an 8. So Piper Kelly had a better start, but just not the smoothest of runs, and Patricia shakes her head. Yeah, a big mistake down low. Not quite sure what put her off, but it wasn't the best of starts. She did recover well, and she makes it into the finals. That recovery might be important come the race time. So, interesting start to this women's comp. No one's setting the speed wall on fire in terms of time yet, but plenty of time to go. And this is the sunset I was talking about as the rocks turn red, and there's almost a full moon rising up behind as well. So Abby Gebert from New Zealand with an 8.85. Tamara on the right. Now Tamara was competing in a boulder competition for the women and did pretty well actually, nearly made it into the finals. So hopefully she's got some skin left. She also has the best leggings in the business. Not sure if that's team kit, but I hope it is. It would be an amazing team kit, eh? So let's see what Abby can do. She's going to have to step up her game if she wants to make a finals place. Both athletes a little slow. Now Tamara picking up the pace towards the middle section into the top half of the route. She gets set for the dyno. And an 8.32 versus a 9.218. So Abby will want to go faster in that second run here. And Tamara as well has a little bit left to find in that second run. Yeah, neither athlete the smoothest runs I've seen again. Tamara did pick it up at the top, but had to sort of haul herself through the dyno at the top there. So work to do for both. Okay, Anna Brozak on the left-hand side. Legend of the sport, part of Team Poland that has huge pedigree, and Radziec Salsabile on the right. We know what she can do on a climbing wall. Never count Radziec out, I tell you. When you think she's behind, she's not. She will come back at you. Super exciting athlete to watch. But Anna Brozak as well could cause an upset or two. But of course, the athletes need to qualify first of all before we even think about finals later. So marks are called. Athletes are ready. Indonesia on the right. Poland on the left. Anna and Radziec. Let's see what happens. Good start from both, and Radziec is much, much faster in the bottom half. Speeding now through the top. Look at this, Anna is behind. And a 6.9 there for Radziec, close to her PB. Not a bad time, one of the fastest we've seen so far. And Anna Brozak, a little bit of work to do on the left. Let's see where it went on for Anna. Down at the bottom. Whereas Radziec just picked up the pace towards the top, and that skip she does, you can see that right foot turns the body to the left slightly, driving off the right foot. Classic start at the top. Agnese Florio on the left versus Carla Martinez Vidal on the right. Now we've got to talk about Agnese because she was incredible in the boulder competition. Made finals, for goodness sake, as a speed climber. I went and spoke to her today, asked her how her skin was. She said it's not best. But hopefully it's good enough for this speed run. If she can make finals again, it will be double NEOM finals for her. Considering, remember, she came as a speed climber, that is an incredible feat from her. So I will be honest, I've got my fingers crossed. Carla on the right, 7.12 is fast as well. Let's see. Well, Carla is very fast and speeding up as she hits the middle part of this route. Finds some pace at the top as well. What will be? No, big hesitation from her. And an 8.23 is outside of Agnes's best time, but Carla as well, 9.34, way outside. And I thought she was flying there, but she did make a mistake in the top sector. Let's have a look. A little double skip in the middle wasn't great, but it was okay. Where was the mistake? There it is, look. Big slip and hard to recover from that position. Got the dyno at the top okay, but yes. Wow, this women's competition. It's like everyone's spiraling at the moment, not the best times being set. Nurul Ikmar on the left-hand side, though. And yet Holder on the right, and yet really spreading the word of speed climbing. She does it all as well, lead and boulder, but has never made a finals. Whereas Nurul Ikmar has made many, 66% progression rate for her, so very experienced. This is someone who would just love to get into a final and show the world what she's at, and she's getting better and better. So marks are called, athletes approach the wall. And as you can see, a 9.12 is not the fastest. She'll need something pretty special if she's going to get through. Nurul will want to, though, and she's more than capable. Anya falls early on in this run. She's done, will not set a time. Nurul will, though, however, and it's past 7, though. Close to her PB. She can go a bit quicker, but you know what? In terms of time at the moment, that might be enough. Let's see where it went wrong for Anya. Yeah, down low. You could say at the moment she couldn't save it, couldn't recover. So everything will rest on her second run if she wants to make it. Nurul, meanwhile, setting a good time. She can let it all go in that second run. Okay, next up from Poland. Well, two Poland sisters, Natalia Kluczka on the left-hand side, Alexandra Kluczka on the right. In terms of stats, Alexandra better on paper, but as we know, these two have battled each other throughout the year on the World Cup circuit. Always hard to call who might take the victory. Thank goodness they're wearing different kits, because these two are pretty identical. So 6.45, 6.34 for these two. Very, very close. Constant competitors and against each other here again. Let's see what they can do. At the moment, Alexandra is slightly faster, but what can happen at the top for the jump? Natalia takes it, 7.34. Not bad, she's happy with it. And it might be enough as well. These two sisters travel the world together, race together, often compete against each other. It was neck and neck through the middle. Natalia just found something in the top sector. Nice jump from her at the top. Spreading the arms. And smiles from both of them, though. Well, one final race here before we switch over. And the athletes will change lanes. The athletes running, of course, 2 races, 2 runs. Jimin Jong on the left, very fast from Korea, just 20 years old, but Desak Madre is one of my favourite to watch. She's another one who's a comeback queen. Do not count this lady out. It doesn't matter if she makes a mistake down low. It's the middle section where she is so fast, and we've seen her recoveries. She also has this incredible focus. She will not crack a smile until the final race. If she wins, we might see one. Right now, she'll be in her zone. So here we go. Jimin Jong, though, 6.53. Great time. That's a 6.36 PB. So Desak with a good start, but remember it's the middle where she'll pick it up, and she does. Look at this pace from her. Jimin Jong's in touch though. Desak stops the clock on a 6.747. Jimin Jong 7s though for her. Jimin has some pace to be found there, and Desak doing enough at the moment. So first run's done then for the women. 1 to go for them. Look at that climbing wall. These are the times so far. So 6s, there are a few. Lots of 7s along the way. A couple of 8s will need to be improved if they want to make it through. And an unfortunate 9 for Abby and a few others. So not the fastest times. It means it's all to play for on this second run. Eva still coughing. It's very dry here in the desert. I've been suffering with a cough myself. It's one of those temperatures. Often we talk about humidity on the World Cup circuit. Not here. It's all about cracked skin. So Leslie on the right this time. Erica on the left.
Ready?
Off they go. Erica will need to improve, and she's not going to with that hesitation, but Leslie isn't that smooth either. Can she find something? Picks up the pace now at the top. Erica way behind. Leslie stopping the clock at an 8.658. Ooh, we're going to have to wait and see on that one, eh? Definitely not guaranteed at this point.
So it will define the ranking of this qualifying round.
Assuming, let's see this. Erica made a big mistake down low. Yeah, it was that bump with the foot, missed the jib with the right foot. And there again. It's amazing, often with speed climbing, a mistake, you can recover from it, but it sets your whole body off on a different path. And considering how finite the beta is, it can really upset your rhythm. Okay, Piper Kelly on the left this time, Patricia Hujiak on the right. Patricia was disappointed with that first run, would like something better on this second. All the athletes cleaning the wall for the Tomoa in preparation for it. 7.34, 6.93. Piper coming closer and closer, improving. Still young in this sport. Our teammate Emma Hunt not here. Probably the fastest USA athlete for the women.
Ready?
Well, it is faster from Patricia, but a little bit of a hesitation down low. Can she find something? Piper Kelly is fast as well. Let's see. Keep an eye on the clock, and it's 7.96 versus 8 for Patricia, who will be disappointed with that one. Not the time she would have wanted to improve, but Piper, with a big smile on her face, seems happy with that performance.
Who's watching speed climbing for the first time, guys? For the very
Yeah,
first
she
time.
seems calm. Patricia, meanwhile, less calm. It was down here she had that moment, coming through the Tomoa and up into this middle sector.
Let's go for the next one, and welcome back.
So, red clocks for Patricia. Okay, Tamara on the left, Abby on the right-hand side this time. And Abby, as we know, was in the 9s from that first run, but that's where she runs, so I'm not expecting her to improve too much on that. Comps like this for her are all about experience, gaining this, what it feels like to be on a big stage in front of lots of people watching at home. Tamara, meanwhile, though, she will be aiming for a finals place. 7.32 is her PB. Well, it is fast from her, but hesitations down low for both, having to recover now. Can they, though? What will the clock say as we reach the top? Tamara on an 8.9 and a 9.969 for Abby. Way outside of her PB. And look at that sunset. I've got to stop talking about the light at some point, but it is stunning right now. Purple across the skies, and you can see it as our athletes finish the route, and the moon just peeking out behind the red rocks. Unbelievable place to have a climbing comp. Anna Brojek with a deep breath as she comes out. Rajia Satsabilia will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Anna does need to find something here in this second run. She was slow on the first one. And Rajia, of course, has all that experience to pull from. This Indonesian team is very much a unit, traveling the world together, training, living, sleeping together, all in the same facility. And you can see the times reflecting that, but Poland has such a pedigree of quality.
Ready?
So it's fast from Anna Brojek. Can she keep that pace through the middle? Rajia is pulling ahead as we'd expect, but Anna needs a fast time here. Rajia stops, has a huge dyno to pull it back. 7.6. That cost her dear at the top. It was a brilliant comeback. She just unleashed a huge dyno to pull it back. And Anna, I think, getting faster as well. It was cleaner from Anna, certainly, but not the cleanest. But Rajia, look, massive mistake, and then just launched the power in her legs to drive her through that final move when you basically come to a complete stop. It was impressive to see. Carla Martinez on the right, Agnese Florio on the right. Agnese will want to improve. She didn't have the best of first runs. Our Boulder finalist from the other night. Carla as well is young, up and coming on this Spanish team. They have a similar setup to the Indonesian squad, actually. They trained together in a big facility in Barcelona, I think. Carla close to breaking that 6-7 second barrier as well. Agnese hesitant down low. Carla starts to pull ahead. Can she keep it together through the top section? Watch the clock here as we come past 7 seconds. To a 7.763. Agnese with 7.99. We'll have to wait and see for her. She could have gone a little bit smoother. Had a few hesitations and mistakes throughout that run, but Carla was pretty flawless on that one. Building the pace as she gets better. So 3 to go then on this qualifying run. The light has changed again, hasn't it? Bright red now, bouncing off the sand. And what will be our final night here of competition. Just a reminder to everyone, we had the boulder, not the lead, boulder last night and the night before, the men and women. Go back and watch that on YouTube and the Olympic channel if you missed any of the action. So Anya Holder versus Nurul Ikma. Anya from South Africa. All about comp experience for her. South Africa does not have many speed walls. I think last time I checked they just had one facility. Shows the difference, whereas Indonesia has amazing 4-lane speed walls where they train. So here we go, fast start from Nurul. But Anya again is slow down low. She's not going to get into the finals. But look at this for Nurul. She has to reset as well. Big slip from her. She's in the 10s. But 12 seconds from Anya is not going to be enough. But Nurul, what happened there? We've got to see a replay of that one. Let's find out. Well, she was good down low. Pulled ahead as we'd expect through here. Where was the mistake? There was a kick there that went wrong. And a big miss of the right jib. Completely missed the hold. Had to entirely reset, squat back down, fire up again. Big mistake from her. We'll have to wait and see if that first time will be enough. Well, siblings race again. Alexandra Kuchka on the left this time. Natalia Kuchka on the right. Both got very close. Alexandra taking it in terms of time on that first run. Sorry, Natalia taking it in terms of time on the first run. So we'd expect both of these to make it into the finals, especially with those PBs, and their first times were quick.
Ready?
Great shot there of the athletes looking up at the wall, both firing off the starting blocks. Alexandra's fast, Natalia slips, she's out of the running. What can Alexandra do in times at 7.22 for Alexandra Kuchka? Natalia Kuchka slips, falls, won't set a time on her second run. Woohoos all round. Sun now gone. Wonderful sunset across our arena. Let's see where Natalia made the mistake. It was in the middle there. Yeah, just went. Hips going back from the wall. Couldn't grab on. Down she goes. And immediately whips off the shoes. So here we go. Final race of the qualifying run before we find out who's made it into our top 16. Desek Madre on the left-hand side of your screen comes out. Jimin Jong on the right from South Korea. Jimin Jong, star in her home country. And it really was an amazing atmosphere in Seoul. More than a month ago now, isn't it? Wow, it's time flown. This is the final IFSC affiliated comp of the season, although the World Cups have finished. So here we go, for the last time for the women. We see who's going to make it through to the finals, which will come about an hour and a bit after this broadcast. 6.36 PB versus 6.53. Very, very close.
Ready?
So here we go. Jimin Jong wanted a better time out of her second run. Can she make it? Desek Madre, though, is powerful at the top, as we know. What can she do here? She stops the clock on a 6.72. That should be fast enough. Jimin, 6.95. We'll see. But with that, all the runs are done. And we will find out officially later on who's made it through. But for now, the athlete's work is done. And we have one last look at this final run. Jimin Jong needed an improvement. She was slow in terms of being beaten, but the time might just be enough to make it through.
Thank you very much, guys.
As we watch again that wonderful shot from the side. 5 degrees overhanging our wall. It's not dead vertical, and you do feel it when you climb it. Well, as the sun sets, our camera rotates. We'll have a look at the times. And of course, one final broadcast to go for the finals, where it becomes a knockout competition. Whoever beats the other athlete will move forward. Whoever loses will be knocked out until we have a small final and a big final. So those are the times. Lots in the 6s. Some 7s along the way, and a couple of DNFs and 10 seconds. We can see the time in gold is the fastest time. In the 8s as well. Anya, a 12-second and a DNF. Disappointment from her, but that comp experience. And the same for Abby, up into the 9s. So fast runs from a lot of athletes here today, but some mistakes along the way, things to clean up. And that is our campsite there. Dinner is being cooked in the background. You can see the smoke rising from the barbecues. Just enough time for the crew to grab a lunch, or dinner, in fact, before we go for our second broadcast of the night with the finals. And trust me, you do not want to miss that. Forget the clock. It's all about races from now on. Although, of course, we will be expecting some fast times from our athletes. And we should do, with world record holders in the building for the men. Sam Watson, can he do something special? Can he pick up another gold medal? He's got some revenge from Seoul, where he was disqualified due to a full start. He would love to have a better end to his season here in NEOM. As we look at the top of our wall, the timing pad, the clock. The clock does not lie, does it? Regardless of how you're feeling as an athlete, that clock will tell you exactly how you've done. On the boulder wall, you can just see it on the right-hand side, being reset for a fun competition tomorrow morning. I think with the local Saudi climbers will be coming in. Workshops will be taking place on that wall later on.
Just the last thing, ladies and gentlemen, before you leave and before you
also belays will be used as the route setters will clean the routes. You can see there the setters climbing up the wall in order to clean the holds, to make sure everything is ready for the finals that will take place later on. Look at that, a few cars coming across the desert, but very few lights out there. What a backdrop to a compare. Absolutely unique in terms of the circuit. As we pan around, there's camels out there. Let's have a look at the men's results then. Remember, we're looking for our top 16. So Vedrik Leonardo with the fastest time there. And Kermel Katam, his teammate after that. Sam Watson up in the top 5. Good runs from him. Rio Amasa makes it safely through. And we go down to 16th, where Aspar is. Leander Carmen's just knocked out of that top 6. Dean, as is Luca Rubiati, and Eric Neuer won't climb again. Well, that's it for tonight's entertainment. We'll be back for the finals later on, and we'll find out who will be crowned champion of NEOM. We'll see you there.